Welcome students, I am Dr. Kim Rodriguez, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Kamal College of Arts, Science and Commerce for Women, Nueva Goa. Today I will be teaching cryopreservation and germplasm conservation, in situ and ex situ methods for third year BSc Botany Semester 5 students. Course code BOD 101, course title Plant Tissue Culture. Title of the unit, Unit 6, Applications of Plant Tissue Culture. Module name, Cryopreservation and Germplasm Conservation, in situ and ex situ methods. The module outline is Cryopreservation and Germplasm Conservation, in situ and ex situ methods. The learning outcome of the module is explains cryopreservation and germplasm conservation, in situ and ex situ methods. Cryopreservation means preservation in the frozen state. The principle involved in cryopreservation is to bring the plant cell and tissue cultures to a zero metabolism or non-dividing state by reducing the temperature in the presence of cryoprotectants. Cryopreservation broadly means the storage of germplasm at very low temperatures over solid carbon dioxide at -79 degrees centigrade, low temperature deep freezers at -80 degrees centigrade, in vapor phase nitrogen at -150 degrees centigrade, in liquid nitrogen at -196 degrees centigrade. Among these, the most commonly used cryopreservation is by employing liquid nitrogen. At the temperature of liquid nitrogen, the cells stay in a completely inactive state and thus can be conserved for long periods. In fact, cryopreservation has been successfully applied for germplasm conservation of a wide range of plant species. Mechanism of cryopreservation. Technique of freeze preservation is based on the transfer of water present in the cells from a liquid to a solid state. Due to the presence of salts and organic molecules in the cells, the cell water requires much lower temperature to freeze compared to the freezing point of pure water. When stored at low temperature, the metabolic processes in the cells almost come to a standstill. Technique of cryopreservation. Cryopreservation of plant cell culture followed by the regeneration of plants broadly involves the following stages. Development of sterile tissue cultures. Any tissue from a plant can be used for cryopreservation. Addition of cryoprotectants and pre-treatment. Cryoprotectants are the compounds that can prevent the damage caused to cells by freezing or thawing. Cryoprotectants fall into two categories: permeating, entering the cells rapidly, and non-permeating. Effective cryoprotectants must permeate the cells. Dimethyl sulfoxide, ethylene, or propylene glycol belong to the permeating group. Proline, glycerol, sugars, and polyethylene glycol belong to the non-permeating group. Among these, DMSO, sucrose, and glycerol are most widely used. Generally, a mixture of cryoprotectants instead of a single one is used for more effective cryopreservation without damage to cells or tissues. Freezing. Slow freezing method. The plant material is slowly frozen at a slow cooling rate of 0.5 to 5 degrees centigrade per minute, from 0 degree to -100 degrees centigrade, and then transferred to liquid nitrogen. The advantage of slow freezing method is that some amount of water flows from the cells to the outside. As a result of these, the plant cells are partially dehydrated and survive better. The slow freezing procedure is successfully used for the cryopreservation of suspension cultures. Rapid freezing method. This technique involves plunging of the vial containing plant material into liquid nitrogen. During rapid freezing, a decrease in temperature -300 degree to -1000 degrees centigrade per minute occurs. The freezing process is carried out so quickly that small ice crystals are formed within the cells. Further, the growth of intracellular ice crystals is also minimal. Rapid freezing technique is used for the cryopreservation of shoot tips and somatic embryos. Stepwise freezing method. This is a combination of slow and rapid freezing procedures and is carried out in a stepwise manner. The plant material is first cooled to an intermediate temperature and maintained there for about 30 minutes, and then rapidly cooled by plunging it into liquid nitrogen. Stepwise freezing method has been successfully used for cryopreservation of suspension cultures, shoot apices, and buds. Storage. Storage is ideally done in liquid nitrogen refrigerator at -150 degrees centigrade in the vapor phase or at -196 degrees centigrade in the liquid phase. The ultimate objective of storage is to stop all the cellular metabolic activities and maintain cell viability. Thawing. Thawing is usually carried out by plunging the frozen samples in ampules into a warm water bath with vigorous swirling. By this approach, rapid thawing occurs, and this protects the cells from the damaging effects of ice crystal formation. As the thawing occurs, the ampules are quickly transferred to a water bath at 20 to 25 degrees centigrade. Reculture. Thawed germplasm is washed several times to remove cryoprotectants, then recultured in a fresh medium. Measurement of survival or viability. The survival or viability of the frozen cells can be measured at any stage of cryopreservation or after thawing or reculture. Staining techniques using triphenyl tetrazolium chloride, Evans blue, and fluorescent diacetate are commonly used. Plant regeneration. For appropriate plant growth and regeneration, the cryopreserved cells or tissues have to be carefully nursed and grown. Addition of certain growth-promoting substances besides maintenance of appropriate environmental conditions is often necessary for successful plant regeneration. Germplasm conservation. Germplasm broadly refers to the hereditary material transmitted to the offspring through germ cells. The very objective of germplasm conservation is to preserve the genetic diversity of a particular plant or genetic stock for its use at any time in future. It is important to conserve the endangered plants, or else some of the valuable genetic traits present in the primitive plants may be lost. Germplasm provides the raw material for the breeder to develop various crops. Thus, conservation of germplasm assumes significance in all breeding programs. There are two approaches for germplasm conservation of genetic materials: in situ conservation, ex situ conservation. In situ conservation. Conservation of germplasm in their natural environment by establishing biosphere reserves is regarded as in situ conservation. This approach is particularly useful for preservation of land plants in a near natural habitat, along with several wild relatives with genetic diversity. Major limitations of in situ conservation are risk of losing germplasm due to environmental hazards. Cost of maintenance of a large number of genotypes is very high. Ex situ conservation. Ex situ conservation is the chief method for the preservation of germplasm obtained from cultivated and wild plant materials. Genetic materials in the form of seeds or from in vitro cultures can be preserved as gene banks for long-term storage under suitable conditions. Germplasm conservation in the form of seeds. Seeds are the most common and convenient materials to conserve plant germplasm. This is because many plants are propagated through seeds, and seeds occupy relatively small space. Further, seeds can be easily transported to various places. Limitations in the conservation of seeds. Viability of seeds is reduced. Seeds are susceptible to insect or pathogen attack. The approach is exclusively confined to seed propagating plants, and therefore it is of no use for vegetatively propagated plants. It is difficult to maintain clones. Certain seeds are heterogeneous and therefore are not suitable for true genotype maintenance. In vitro methods for germplasm conservation. In vitro methods employing shoots, meristems, and embryos are ideally suited for the conservation of germplasm of vegetatively propagated plants. The plants with recalcitrant seeds and genetically engineered materials can also be preserved by this approach. Advantages associated with in vitro germplasm conservation. Large quantities of germplasm can be preserved in small space in an environment free from pathogens, protected against nature's hazards. From the germplasm stock, large number of plants can be obtained whenever needed. Obstacles for their transport through national and international borders are minimal, since the germplasm is maintained under aseptic conditions. There are mainly three approaches for the in vitro conservation of germplasm. Cryopreservation. At the temperature of liquid nitrogen, -196 degrees centigrade, the cells stay in a completely inactive state and thus can be conserved for long periods. Cold storage. Cold storage basically involves germplasm conservation at a low and non-freezing temperatures, 1 to 9 degrees centigrade. Low pressure, low oxygen storage. In low pressure storage, the atmospheric pressure surrounding the plant material is reduced. This results in a partial decrease of the pressure, which reduces the in vitro growth of plants. In the low oxygen storage, the oxygen concentration is reduced, but the atmospheric pressure is maintained by the addition of inert gases. The low oxygen reduces plant tissue growth. To summarize, with plant tissue culture techniques, it is now possible to provide a germplasm storage procedure which uniquely combines the possibilities of disease elimination and rapid clonal multiplication. Cryopreservation of plant tissue, cell or meristem in liquid nitrogen for desirable period and the recovery of whole plant via organogenesis is also a valuable tool for the preservation of very rare germplasm and to maintain a clone for crop improvement. These are some of the references.